What's up, world, and welcome back. This is your boy KP.
And Mike the expert.
You guys are tuned into our sports podcast. We're two best friends that love sports. We love to talk about sports. So we figure we share our great conversation with you guys. And then we would love for you to interact with us and share what you think.
Exactly. And we got a lot going on, a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to get into a little bit of football. We're going to talk about the draft. The 49ers, their picks, seeing if that was good for them. Also, we're going to get into some boxing. Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we're going to get into some basketball. You know, we always got to talk a little basketball, so we're going to get into that. The East, the West, who we think is coming out, and so on and so forth. So we got a lot going on tonight.
That's what's up. So please continue to follow us, continue to interact with us. We want to hear from you. Share your comments with us on Instagram or Facebook. Follow us where you get your favorite podcast. Share with your friends. We'd love to have the conversation continue. So with all that, let's go ahead and jump into it. Oh, real quick, before we jump into it, I want to give a plug out to my boy, Joe, representing Fresh Division. Great line. You guys check it out, freshdivision.com. Check.
Yeah, let's do it.
Great line. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So, man, we know tonight is the draft. We all been waiting for this for a long time. This is my thing with football. It takes too long for the draft to come. You hear so many things, and everybody's opinion changes 20 times over. I just wish it would happen a little bit sooner. But with all that being said, we already know the first pick was Trevor Lawrence to Jacksonville. That was a no-brainer. The Jets messed up again, getting Zach Wilson. I think that was a bad pick. I don't think he can play. But where the draft really got started this year was number 3. So at number 3, the 49ers took Trey Lance. What do you think, Mike? Is that the right pick?
I think that's a good pick. I think that's a good pick for him. I mean, for them, Trey Lance, mobile. He can run. I like those type of QBs, the ones that, they're mobile, can move around, can run. I mean, he could throw. I think that was a real good pick. I think they should, bring him through slowly, bring him along slowly. I think that was good for them.
I agree. I mean, they have everything. I know some people said possibly Kyle Pitts, but they already have George Kittle, great tight end. They have so many weapons. They have wide receiver covered. They got running back covered. They got a monster defense. And when you have everything covered and you just recently made a Super Bowl run like they did, you get a quarterback. So now this brings up the question, what should they do with Jimmy G? Should they trade him? I mean, do you trade him? I mean, obviously you're going to trade him at some point. But if you are the coach, you are the GM, do you get rid of him right away and play Trey Lance, or do you let Jimmy G play? Now, remember, Trey Lance only had one game last season under his belt.
Exactly. I wouldn't trade him right away. I know he's injury prone, so eventually, they are going to get rid of him and let Trey Lance take over. But you got to see what you got. You really, in Trey Lance, you don't really know what you have right now. So what I would do is, like I said earlier, I would bring him along slowly. And we'll go at it like that. Now, the only way I would trade my QB right now is if I got just a great package that I couldn't refuse. If it was like a get then I would go ahead and do it. But till then, I'll bring Trey Lance over slowly. Do it that way.
I agree with that. Unless someone's going to call me and say, hey, I'm giving you 2 first-round picks, a third, and a player, I can't turn that down. I mean, I'll just have to lose and deal with it. But I think that's the right pick for them and the right strategy. If you do that, it kind of puts you like where Green Bay was with Aaron Rodgers. He sat for a little bit of time, and then he was ready to play. So you had Brett Favre at the time, which we're not saying Jimmy G is Brett Favre, nowhere near it. But at the same time, you do let him sit. He does have opportunity to get better and get coached up. So I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and just a little on side note, I know this is away from what we were talking about, but you mentioned Aaron Rodgers, and I heard that he's trying to, do something else now.
You think he wants out of Green Bay?
And I think that's what I was reading up on and everything. He's looking to get out of there.
Man, so I don't know where Aaron Rodgers goes though, because if you're going to trade for Aaron Rodgers, you're giving away the farm to get him.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, I'm gonna preface it by this: Falcon fans, don't kill me. I love Ice. Ice is a great quarterback, but if I can somehow get over on him and trade him one up straight up,
that's
trade Ice for Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
no one's gonna do that deal. No one's gonna.
Exactly. That's where I was. Yeah, and that's where I was going with this. If we could get a get over trade like that, I would take it. I would pull the trigger right away.
I would too. So speaking of us, We draft Kyle Pitts at number 4. What do you think of that?
Kyle Pitts at number 4. I think that was great. He was the best talent available. We didn't necessarily need to get a QB. I know they were thinking about getting Fields. We didn't necessarily need a QB at the time.
Right.
Our guy's getting a little old. Ryan's up there in age, but he's still playing well. I know people are saying trade Ryan, get rid of Ryan and all this stuff, but I mean, he's playing well. Our line is not really protecting as well. We get that together, we'll be okay. I think getting Pitts was the right move. So yeah, I
agree 100%.
Yeah,
a number of reasons, right? So let's do it. Everybody says get Matt Ryan out of here, and I've been guilty. I've said it before too. My issue with Matt, sometimes he holds the ball a little bit too long. But part of that is because our guys can't get open. Julio is injured from time to time. I think that Pitts gives us an insurance policy for when Julio is injured. Number 2, helps out, all of our passing game, because now you got to account for him, Calvin Ridley, and Kyle Pitts. That's a lot of weapons that you got to keep up with on the field.
Yeah.
And Matt's been proven when you had Tony Gonzalez, if he has a solid that is a very dangerous quarterback. And I want to see him get better. Our offensive line is young. We do have an opportunity that maybe they can turn into, a really good offensive line. We do need a running back. Hopefully we'll get that in the second round. But at the same time, if you look at Tom Brady, he's over 40 years old and he's balling out. If you give the guy the right weapons, it doesn't matter that he's a little bit older. And Matt is not 40. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, exactly.
I think that's the thing too. And people forget what life was like before Matt Ryan. We had Joey Harrington and Byron Leftwich. I don't want to go back to that.
Exactly.
And that was hard to watch. Look at the Cleveland Browns. And I'm not saying Baker Mayfield is the greatest quarterback ever, but they were nowhere before Baker Mayfield. We don't want to be in that position. So I say keep Matt. Unless, Green Bay going to call and we're going to do a straight-up trade for Aaron Rodgers. Other than that, we need to keep Matt. And plus, Drew Brees is out of our division. There's no Cam Newton in our division. So all we really have to do is compete with the Tampa Bay Bucks, and that's it. So we actually got a chance now. So I agree. Let's go all in and let's see what happens next.
Yeah,
so speaking of the Falcons, there's been some rumors about us being open to trading Julio Jones. Put your GM hat on. You're Terry Fontenot now, not Mike the expert. Would you trade Julio Jones just because you have some issues with the cap? And we are a little bit of cap strapped.
No. If you can afford it, man, I'll go over the cap and keep him. I think we have something good going. We got it, and we just got a good pick. I just want to see how it all comes together. So I wouldn't trade him. I wouldn't trade him just yet.
I agree with you, and I agree with everybody. My favorite analyst, Shannon Sharp. I would never trade Julio. Julio's going to be a Falcon for life. That's like trading, Terrell Owens in his prime, and you could keep him. That's like trading Jerry Rice. You don't trade that guy.
Exactly.
You try to figure it out. I know Julio has some injuries sometimes. I think that now that we can take pressure off of him, he may not get as injured as much because we have Kyle Pitts. I would try to figure it out financially and figure out where I can, fix the cap somewhere else, but Julio would not be available. I think that it's all smoke and mirrors just because of the time of year. They're trying to maybe, backdoor Julio into renegotiating his deal again or something like that. I don't see us trading him. I think that's a terrible look as a new GM. You trade basically your best skill player, and you're not going to get value back after the draft. It'd be different if we were doing it today and we're getting, a first round pick and something else, but I can't see it, any other way.
Yeah.
So to keep it going, we're going to keep this NFL talk going. So we're going to talk about Deshaun Watson. This is a little bit uncomfortable. He now has 22 allegations of sexual misconduct, and they are civil allegations. Let's keep that clear. They are civil and not criminal allegations.
Yeah.
So, number one, I want your thoughts on that. And number two, put your GM hat back on. You are now the general manager of the Texans. Do you cut Deshaun? Do you trade him? What would you do right now? So first, how you feel about it, and then what would you do as a GM?
Well, how I feel about it, I mean, it's tough because, a lot of times when you get a lot of people against you like this, when one comes through, then two, and now it's up to like 22 now. The first thing people think is there's got to be some truth in it somewhere, and it probably is. And I just think it's a tough thing. He has to be more careful with with stuff like that. And hopefully it's not true, but I mean, he's gonna have to shell out some money regardless, so I just think it's tough. I don't know if it's true or not, so I don't want to condemn the man or anything like that, but we'll see where it goes from there. Now, as far as the GM part, man, I would keep him. Or if I can get a good trade, I would do it. Here's the thing. I know nobody's really going to trade for him because of the allegations and stuff that's going on, but I mean, I wouldn't want to just get rid of him and give up on him, and then it comes out that the stuff is not true.
Right.
He still has a case going. In my mind, you're innocent till proven guilty. And I mean, in the position that he's in, yeah, he may have been a little reckless, but I don't know if this stuff is totally true, if it's fabricated or not. Now, if it comes out that this stuff is totally true and he did all that stuff and he was wrong and all that, then, shoot, I let him go. But he's good enough to where I want him on my team, and hopefully the stuff is true, and hopefully it works out. So I would keep him.
I'll probably say I'll start with the GM. As a GM, I would love to trade him, but he has no value.
Exactly.
His value is totally dead. If I trade him, I'm definitely going to lose the trade. At best, you may be able to get one first rounder just because of the level of heat now. And I know he has 18 women saying that he didn't, conduct himself in a bad way. And I know he's saying that it was consensual. But with 22 allegations, it's really, really hard to say that was consensual every time if someone else is saying it wasn't. And I'm not saying that it's true. I don't know. I wasn't there. But as a GM, all I can do is hold on to him and just hope to just, you don't want to be here anyway. So you're going to stay home. So at least no one's coming to the facility to ask questions or to interview you, which is good. So it takes a little bit of attention off of me. All I can do is hope to keep you and hope this blows over and I can trade you at a different point. Now, if this goes into criminal, that's why I would keep it. Number one, it's not a criminal case. It's a civil case.
Yeah.
If this goes into a criminal proceeding, I may have to move differently and just cut bait because that's a hard trial to win, 22 allegations. And even if you somehow win and beat the case, your trade value is still going to be really, really low.
Yeah, but KP, the thing about it is just there's money involved, and when money's involved, I don't care if it's one person or 53 people, they could all be lying because they all want money, so that's why I'm just like I would definitely keep them. It's just kind of hard to figure out really what to do, but I would probably keep them because there's money involved, and they'll probably
right. But then on the flip side, you have folks saying, "Hey, when there's smoke, there's fire," right? So you have, Brett Ratner. We found out that he was involved in allegations. You have Matt Lauer. You have Bill Cosby. Remember at the beginning, most people were like, "Oh, this is two women. What are they talking about? This is crazy." It ended up being like 50. It ended up being true. The same thing with R. Kelly. For years, people were like, "I don't know, maybe so."
No, R. Kelly.
And now you found out it's worse. And well, even those of us that knew it was true, it was worse when we actually found out the truth.
Understandable, but
so that's why I said to me, it's like if this goes to a criminal proceeding, I don't see where I'm gonna ever have value to trade you, so I might as well cut you. You don't want to be here anyway. So why am I gonna pay you and you don't want to be here anyway?
Yeah, that's the criminal proceeding. I understand that, but the way it is right now, I don't care if it's 22, 32, 52, 62, whatever. I can't really necessarily, because there's money involved. A lot of people are going to come in and try to get their share. Most of the people that touched him, most of the people that he's been involved with, a lot of them, if they're money hungry or if they're broke or if they're hurting or something like that, this is their opportunity to get in it and try to get some type of money. So I don't know if it's true. And I'm not saying that they're doing that, so I don't want anybody listening to this, me, blaming the victim or anything like that. But I'm looking at it both ways. It could be either way. He could be wrong.
Right. Yeah, he could. It
You
could
know,
be like
so
you said. It could be an opportunistic thing, like a class action lawsuit. It also could be
yeah.
there's smoke and there's fire. This dude is out here acting a fool. Like look at Darren Sharper.
Mm-hmm.
He had a great reputation. Nobody would have ever thought that he was a phenomenal player. And come to
Yeah.
find out, the dude is a sexual predator. And he's out here. He's a serial rapist. Now he's in prison.
Mm-hmm.
So it totally
Yeah.
shocked everybody. And if it's true, I kind of put it in that realm that like, man, that is so sad. You don't.
Yeah.
But that shows that you have a problem too, though, if you're doing that.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's and to me, still, and if it isn't true, it's also decision making, dude. What are you doing? Basically, you got 22 saying you did it, 18 saying you didn't. That's over 40 people massaging you in a year. 40 different people. What are you
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
getting 40 massages by 40 different people, and you could pay one professional to come and do what they do and come back and go, and that's it?
Maybe he was
That's
just trying
crazy.
different people to. Maybe he was trying different people to see who was best. You know, he didn't want to just
Yeah,
say,
but even if it was like, but here's the thing too, you're getting into the physical with the masseuse. The masseuse supposed to give you a massage, get you right on the field, not handle the business.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if that's going on, you're an NFL player. You could easily meet someone that wants to do that without getting
Of
yourself in
course.
trouble. So
Mm-hmm.
that's decision making. And again, you're my quarterback. You making bad decisions. I'm gonna have to get rid of you. Here's my last question on here. Let's just say, let's play it out, that he gets out of this, or he beats, or he pays the money, right? He pays the money or whatever, or they reach a settlement, or he just wins the case. Either one, because I think
Mm-hmm.
either one is bad no matter what. Because now,
Yeah.
in the public opinion, his reputation is trash.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think his actual value is? Do you feel like you'd be able to get a good trade, or will you just go ahead and cut him when it's over?
That's going to be hard as far as value. I mean, if he wins the case, if he beats the case, then you might be able to really you might be able to do something. You're not going to get a whole lot, but I mean, either you can keep him, but if he doesn't want to be there and you have to get rid of him, you might be able to, get out of all the teams, you might be able to get something, you know.
Right.
Now
I feel like it's like you're getting second round picks now. You're not getting first, or you're getting one first. To me, that even if he, unless he basically ends up in a situation where folks come out and say, "Hey, I lied," and they admit to lying,
mhm.
his reputation's shot either way. He can't come back to
Oh
Houston
yeah, it
even if
is.
he wanted to. That's done.
Yeah,
He has to leave Houston.
yeah, but getting something for him is better than nothing. You know, if you can get anything for him, anything that can help your team, something's better than nothing. So
Right. So let's keep it moving. Let's keep it going. So
yeah.
let's talk about your boy Brett Favre. Now, in
Mm-hmm.
high school, all of us were Brett Favre fans. And later on, we found out the guy's a little bit trash. He has his own
Yeah.
sexual allegations and misconduct.
Mm-hmm.
But he recently gave a statement that he felt like people weren't watching the game anymore because athletes had brought politics into football, and people just want to watch football, right? And
Mm-hmm.
now he's made the comment that he felt like Derek Chauvin did not mean to kill George Floyd. What he did was wrong, and it was bad, but it was not intentional. So first, let's deal with basically the shut up and play. I'll give my opinion. I think that's totally ridiculous. People say that
Mm-hmm.
because they don't agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
People have no issue with it when you agree with what you're saying. When you say you don't want politics in sports is doing the players stand up for the flag. It's the
Mm-hmm.
America Unite. It's to support the military. That's all
Shoot,
political,
9/11.
right? That's
Yeah.
political, right? It's
Yeah.
political because you agree with it and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I get up and I give a speech, I support the troops. I love the troops. I donate money, to veterans. Nobody has an issue with that. But if I get up there and say Black Lives Matter, and I don't agree with how this country polices people of color, well, not say everybody, but some folks have an issue with that because they don't see that issue. They don't understand it. They don't want to understand it, or they just don't.
They
They
don't
choose not to
care.
see it, or they don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still have the right to say that. So I don't agree with this shut up and play anything. If you have a platform, use your platform to advance the message. And I applaud those who have done that over the last year. Obviously, LeBron James. We know the sacrifice Colin Kaepernick made to advance the message, and a lot of others that have participated. Michael, I'm sorry, I can't think of his name. plays for the Saints, safety.
Mm-hmm.
Again, advance the message. Like what Doc Rivers said, I thought that was very powerful to explain why do we love this country when it does not love us back.
Yeah.
That's very, very powerful. So, I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah. So of course, definitely, I don't agree with Brett Favre and saying, about bringing politics into sports, because politics has always been in the sports. It's okay. 9/11 happened, and that's all through sports and
Patriotic.
that and all that. But when it comes to just our people, it comes to Black people and things happening to them, people say that we're whining and stuff like that. But when it comes to stuff that's happening to Black people, they don't care. The people don't care. And they say, hey, they're basically saying, I don't want to hear it. Don't bring it over here. Let me do what I do because you're not important. That's basically what I'm saying.
Entertain me, basically.
Just entertain me. I don't care what's happening. You all die, you get killed, you get hurt, you lose your loved ones. That doesn't matter. I just want to be entertained. And that's how it's always been. So I don't expect anything different from them. So I say we just keep doing it. We keep bringing it into sports. There's nothing they can do about it. Where Black people are some of the most entertaining people. So you're not going to stop watching the sport. So hey,
right.
Watch the sport.
Well, according to him, they have stopped.
Yeah, they'll.
Which I think is ridiculous. There's other reasons. Here's the thing: when you watch an NFL game, an NBA game, Major League Baseball, any of that stuff, these guys are not giving political speeches before they get on the court.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They're giving a speech or they're giving their opinion when they get interviewed. Like what the WNBA players did during the election, I thought was very powerful. They spoke up. Mm-hmm. How powerful is it that you are playing for the Atlanta Dream and your owner does not believe in Black Lives Matter and you wear a shirt and tell them to vote for her opponent? That they can't get any more American than that because that's freedom of speech. That is the epitome of what America is about, which I thought was excellent. I applaud those ladies for doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then this Derek Chauvin thing, I don't know how you can watch this video unless you choose to not see it or you don't want to admit that you have a level of racism, that you cannot see that was intentional. There was nothing that he did that was questionable where maybe he had to make a split decision. You sat on this man's neck for over 9 minutes. That's intentional.
Yeah.
It can't be any other way. It wasn't like it was, the recent situation that happened here where the young lady was, gonna stab the other young lady and the police officer shot her. And again, I don't agree with that. I feel like we got to figure out some way that the person doesn't have to die in the incident. That's a little ridiculous that every time it's life or death. It's got to be a non-lethal way to disarm her or maybe a way to wound her and then now the incident is over. So because I say when you're doing that, you can't say that you were totally protecting her. What if you miss and hit the person you're trying to save? So
yeah,
I mean, and that's a story for another day. But at the same time, it wasn't a split decision thing that Derek Chauvin did. It was an intentional thing that he did to exert power. So I don't see how you can watch that video and say it wasn't intentional. If that's the way you feel, you're trash and keep that to yourself is how I feel.
Yeah. Most definitely. I mean, George Floyd, you look at it, it's not like he was up tackling down the officers and physically trying to, hurt or attack the officers or nothing. No, he was down on the ground and you were on his neck, So, if you're on anybody's neck for that long, you're going to kill him. Understand, I don't see how he doesn't know that. He's trained. He's a trained cop. He's a trained professional. He should know this. First of all, he shouldn't be on that man's neck like that. The guy's on the ground. There's multiple of y'all. He's not being aggressive. He's not attacking you all.
Well, he's already handcuffed too.
Yeah, and he's already handcuffed. So I'm like, what is he going to do? I'm sure you already checked him. He doesn't, and he can't get to it because he's handcuffed anyway. So get off the man's neck. So yeah, no, it was intentional. He did that on purpose. He tried to kill him. And he did. He accomplished what he did, and he needs to be locked away forever.
Here's what Brett Favre reminded me of. Remember, my grandmother used to say, it's one thing to be a fool. It's another thing to open your mouth and let everybody know it.
Exactly.
Sometimes you need to keep your opinion to yourself. She used to tell me it's a time to speak your mind. It's a time to mind your speech. That was the time for him to mind his speech. Because you only make yourself look bad. If I was Wrangler, I would distance myself from you. You wouldn't be doing no more ads for me. If I was Copperfit, you would be doing no more ads for me like that. I can't have that near
Yeah.
my brain. So we'll go ahead and keep it moving. So let's jump to your one of your favorite sports, boxing. So what you
Oh
got on
yeah.
that, man?
Yeah. So they got Logan Paul going up against Floyd Mayweather in their exhibition. I'm not really with it too much. I mean, it's fine. Here's the thing with it. I like kind of what it's doing for boxing because people aren't really looking at boxing. People aren't really thinking about boxing. So this is actually bringing light to boxing and actually could put some money in some people's pockets. But on the flip side, I don't think as great as Floyd Mayweather is, he's like one of the greats, one of the all-time greats. Some people see him as the greatest.
Right.
He's definitely top five.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Paul should be able to get in the ring with a great like that. All these other people who have sacrificed, who have went through all of this to get there and didn't even get a chance to get in the ring with this man. Then all of a sudden this guy who's 0-1, who lost his fight already, he's not even
his brother.
undefeated,
I'm thinking about his brother.
gets to get in there
Jake Paul. I'm thinking about Jake
against,
Paul.
Yeah, Jake Paul's the one who's been winning.
Yeah, because he put Nate Robinson to sleep, put him to bed.
Yeah, Logan Paul's the other one. He's not winning. He's famous on Instagram, and now he's about to go up against Floyd Mayweather. I mean, it would have even been better if Mayweather went against Jake Paul instead of Logan Paul, but he's going against Logan Paul. I get why Mayweather's doing it because he's Money Mayweather. He's all about the money. So and this is going to be big. He's going to get a lot of money off of this because of the hype, the YouTube.
Yeah, he's getting like 15 million. Just
probably
gonna take.
And he'll probably get more than that.
Yeah,
he'll probably get more than that. So I understand why Mayweather's doing it, but it's not like he just needs the money, and why let this guy get in the ring? I mean, if that's the case, you and I can build ourselves up on YouTube and be like, hey, I want to get in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. We can make a quick 15 million. I'll get in there and get beat up for $15 million. Or
he said, go ahead, I'll raise my hand, knock me out for $5 million. It's cool.
Yeah,
I'll take a discount. Knock me out for 5.
You know what? I'll just take a cool million. How about that? I'll take a cool million.
Right. I'm gonna do you a favor. You go ahead and get the 20 and just give me the 1.
Exactly. So maybe I'll do that. But it's kind of it's a double-edged sword. It's kind of a disgrace to boxing.
Right.
It actually gets people thinking about boxing because really, without this, nobody's really thinking about boxing like that. So
right, because Tyson Fury he's not fighting anybody. I mean,
yeah,
boxing's in a weird space, right?
Mm-hmm.
We grew up, we had Mike Tyson, we had Evander Holyfield, even in the other classes, we had Oscar De La Hoya, we had so many great fighters, Roy Jones, Pernell Whitaker. So we had guys to watch, and I don't know if I want to say there's a lack of guys to watch because I don't think that's the case. I just think none of them are dynamic. None of them are a reason to watch. Like they're not even Zab Judah dynamic. When you're rooting against a guy or something, I mean, they have no personality. Maybe that's what it is.
That's what I was going to say. Personality is everything, man. You can be good because there are good boxers.
Yeah, like Adrian Broner's not a great boxer, but he does have personality. Exactly. And you want to root against him. You want to see him lose.
Yeah, but he don't win crazy, so it's like he's gone.
Right.
But
he's not even
personality is everything.
Right. So I think that's some of you. And then the heavyweight division is really lacking. There's no guy that puts the fear in anybody. And again, not taking anything away from Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, but no one's afraid of either one of them.
No, not at all.
And I like Fury because he is hard to hit for a heavyweight. But, I mean, there's so many other great dynamic heavyweights that have come before him that are far more entertaining.
Yeah, here's the thing. Here's the problem right here. In boxing, we are more amped to watch an old Mike Tyson and an old Roy Jones. We're more apt to watch them than to watch your top boxers fight.
Right. That's the problem.
That's the problem. We want to watch. So now they're talking about Tyson and Holyfield. They're supposed to go in. They're supposed to fight.
Tyson already turned it down. He already said no.
Well, he turned it down, but then I heard that they a re-engagement.
Renegotiated.
Yeah, so that could actually happen.
I don't want to see a third fight. We're good. It's
No, they
good,
don't
man.
need to. They don't
I
need
mean,
to.
even
And
if
I mean,
Tyson wins the
honestly,
fight, let's just say he knocks him out, and we finally get the
it's
Tyson
not.
win that we always wanted. It doesn't mean anything.
It's not
They're
going to mean
overwatched
anything.
right now.
Yeah, it's
You
not
know,
going to mean anything at all.
unfortunately, I got to put this disclaimer out there. So in high school, we're that old. That's when they fought the first time. And we went to school with Evander Holyfield's nephew. No names, please, but he knows who he is. He bet money that I had to give up. You know, we put some juice boxes on it. And I definitely lost. I lost those apples because I just knew that. I said, man, your uncle's gonna get killed, man. He's gonna die.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
I did not want to show up to school the next day after that first fight, bro. I did not want to show up to school, man. I felt so embarrassed because my guy, he didn't come through for me, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And he beat Mike Tyson convincingly. I hate to say it because Tyson is my favorite boxer of all time, but Evander Holyfield just had his number. Y'all boxed him, and then the second time was just a I don't know, a carnival.
Yeah, clown.
It was a clown show, you know. So we don't want to talk about the second time, man. You know, because I love Tyson. He put the fear into people. Everybody was afraid of him. He was dynamic to watch. His knockouts are still entertaining, and maybe some of us that we don't want to let go of the old. But if you look at other sports, basketball is probably a great comparison. Keep everybody's attention and continue to get you to watch basketball. I can't really say that about boxing. Probably since Lennox Lewis might be the last great heavyweight that anybody even cared about.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and he's been done for almost 25 years now, something like that. Yeah. So, you know, I think this thing with Floyd is really bush league. I have to be honest, man. It looks ridiculous. It's a clown show. You might as well just start fighting guys off the street, man. I mean,
here's the thing.
He might as well fight, you know, Ric Flair or something. Well, he's too old, but I mean, he might as well start fighting wrestlers now. Fight Kofi Kingston at this point. I mean, it's getting silly now. It's getting really silly.
But I'm going to watch it though, and that's the whole.
I'm not gonna watch that.
I'm gonna watch it, but
because that's the thing. If you tune in, there's no way Floyd should not knock this man out in the first round. There's no way this should go more than one round. If Jake Paul can knock out Nate Robinson and make him look bad in one round, if I do watch this, you better pulverize this guy. I don't want to see none of that defensive stuff. I don't want to see you run around the ring. I want to see you put this guy to sleep and embarrass him. That's what we should see.
Right. So tell me this, KP, if you were considered one of the top boxers to ever box, and then you get a guy like Jake Paul or Logan Paul, you know, wanting to fight you, and you can make a quick 30, 40 million off of this, would you do it?
No. At his level, he's Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's not going to play me one-on-one. He wouldn't give me the time of day. He would look at me crazy and be like, are you serious? Like, that'd be like Mike playing LeVar Ball one-on-one. Why would he waste his time doing that? He's MJ.
But he would if you had the right amount of money to do it.
No, MJ would not waste his time with LeVar Ball.
MJ, let me tell you why MJ would do it. I'll tell you why, because he's a gambler. He has a gambling problem. I go to MJ and I'm like, hey, I got $50 million right here, says that I can beat you. If you win, you got to go on social media and let everybody know that I beat you. If I win, I'll give you this $50 million. He'll do that because he's a gambler. He likes to gamble.
Yeah, but the person has to have some level of cachet for Mike to take that on. I think Mike would do it if it was like, I'm trying to think of somebody that's retired that is probably still in shape to play, that you actually want to see Mike play. Like if he played Isaiah Thomas, it probably would be, you know, they're both old. It probably wouldn't be really watchable. But maybe Magic. Yeah. If Magic said, "Let's play one-on-one and we'll put it on YouTube," Mike would probably do that because he respects Magic and Magic has a level of cachet. Even if I think God bless the dead, if Kobe Bryant was still alive and they're both old now, Mike would probably take the challenge and I would actually watch that. Even though I know Kobe's so much younger than him and should easily watch Mike, just based on the age. It would have to be something like that. I can't see him. Some YouTube guy, I'll play you one-on-one for $1 million. Are you kidding me? $10 million, that ain't worth his time.
No, not at all. Not $1 million to $10 million. That's why I said
That's what I'm
100.
saying. That's why I'm like with Floyd, the 20 million, you Money Mayweather. You worth
Yeah,
like
but Floyd's
$400 million. What's the point? What
yeah,
are we
but Floyd's
doing
all
here?
about the money, man. Floyd's
What are
all
we
about the
doing
money.
here?
Yeah, because you got to think Floyd already boxed that kickboxer dude.
Right. He already did that ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's like
he
it's
made and that
turning
was
into
yeah, and
turn
that
to a
was less
clown show.
money. He only got like 10 million off that. He'd probably get more off this. He's gonna do it.
The better question would be like, would Mike Tyson do that? And I know he wouldn't. He would not waste his time with some YouTuber.
No,
Like,
he probably won't.
he's even older. I'm sure he would easily beat the guy up.
Yeah, but Mike Tyson might really hurt somebody. He really shouldn't do it. So
I'm out on
the
that,
next,
man. I'm out on that.
yeah, nah. So the next thing we're gonna get off of boxing, we're gonna jump into basketball. And right now the Lakers, they're hurt right now. LeBron was out, Anthony Davis just came back, and they still been losing. Even with Anthony Davis back. So how do you think they're gonna finish? How do you think they're gonna finish the season? Or you think they're gonna wind up in the play-in, or what do you think is gonna happen?
I think they're going to wind up in the play-in. Everybody's against me. And I'm going to preface this by this. I love Bron. Anybody knows me personally knows that because Bron is from Ohio just like me. You know,
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm a lifelong Cavs fan. And I still want my team. So I'm rooting for Bron. I'm not worried about Bron. I think he's going to be just fine. I'm really worried about AD. Can he finish the season? And he's looked good when he's come back, but I'm really worried that as the games go on, is this going to end up like Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
So when you get a more serious injury or you get re-injured, like kind of what happened to Kawhi Leonard, is this going to end up like that? So to me, AD is such the X factor. And even let's say AD gets injured at the end or in the playoffs, you may not agree with me, but Bron is good enough to get you to the finals, no matter who your competition is. Because I watched it happen being a Cavs fan. In 18, our team was awful. And he took us to the finals, and had JR not messed up, who knows, he might have won 2 games, But that's neither here nor there, and that's over. It doesn't matter. We weren't going to win the series. We might have won. We definitely would have won that game. That's why I said we might have won 2. Because we would have won game 1. We were already up. We would have won game 1. We might have won game 2. So we might have won another game somewhere in the series. Maybe one back at home or something like that. But I think the Lakers going to end up in the play-in. If Anthony Davis is healthy, it's going to be a repeat. Because now that you have Drummond, you can control the boards. You got Harold. You got so many different ways you can play and match up with teams. And teams can't really match up with you. And I know that the combination is different than JaVale and Dwight. And I like what JaVale and Dwight did, and I wish they had kept JaVale. I thought that was a bad decision in retrospect. Because it's not Powell, but his brother, Mark is washed up. He's washed. Mark is washed. Yeah. And I said that when he came. I said he's washed. I don't know why you even wanted him. He looked washed before he got there. I said that from the beginning. So I was never a fan of that move of bringing him in. I would have kept JaVale. I always had a high opinion of JaVale, even when he was making a fool of himself in Washington, because I saw his athleticism, and I love the way he plays. He don't take any plays off, so I definitely would have kept him. I understand you can't control what Dwight Howard does because he was a free agent, so they had no control over that. But if everybody is healthy, especially if AD is healthy, they're gonna repeat. Without AD, they go to the finals and they lose to either Brooklyn or Philadelphia.
So
maybe Boston, but they go to the finals and lose.
Yeah. So here's the thing, man. With AD, I think with a healthy AD and a little cohesiveness, if Drummond starts playing how he should, if he focuses more on, rebounding and block shots and stuff like that, they could win the championship. I think they could win it. Without AD, I don't think they make it to the finals. I know you were saying LeBron, he did it before with a Cavs team, but that was in the East, and the East was whack. The East wasn't that good. That's different. In the West, with the teams that we have out West right now, without AD, the Lakers, and the Lakers my squad. That's my team. But the Lakers don't make it to the finals without AD.
So, all right, real quick.
Mhm.
If you say they don't make it to the finals, who beats them then? Let's say AD gets hurt along the way. Where they lose at? Eastern Conference Finals, or they don't even make? I mean, Western Conference Finals, they don't even make it that far.
Well, that just depends. It depends on how it stacks up. So it depends on who they go against in each round. So, like if they go against the Clippers and they don't have AD, I don't think they beat the Clippers without AD. I think any of those teams really,
So did they beat Utah without AD?
Can they beat Utah without AD?
Uh-huh.
I think it'd be a tough series. I don't think they beat Denver without AD.
I agree with that one.
I think Denver would beat them without AD. I think the Clippers would beat them without AD. Utah, it'd be a close series. It depends on how Utah's playing. I don't think Utah is a championship team. I just think they're having a good season. But without AD, Utah has a chance to beat them. I think with AD, I don't think Utah has a chance at all. So that's the difference.
What about Phoenix?
Phoenix without AD has the chance. And I think Phoenix is a real good team with Chris Paul there. Nobody likes to really give them a chance because they weren't in the playoffs years before. But with Chris Paul, it just took them to a whole nother level. And I think with Chris Paul, if you take AD out that lineup, they have a chance. They're like Utah. They have a chance to really beat them. I think with AD, a healthy AD, and all of them together and cohesive, the Suns and the Utah Jazz don't stand a chance to beat the Lakers. I think the Lakers really would beat any of the teams. I think they'll beat the Clippers. The Clippers have a chance still, but I think they'll beat the Clippers, everybody. But without AD, yeah, I don't think the Lakers have a chance of making it to the finals unless, barring injuries, unless other teams become injured. Because right now the Clippers are injured. So, it just depends on injuries and stuff.
Yeah, because the Clippers just signed Yogi Ferreira. I'm like, okay, he hasn't played in I don't know when. He was supposed to be good when he left Oklahoma, and it didn't pan out for him in Sacramento. So
it's just,
we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, all the guys are injured right now. So
let me ask you this. All right. Western Conference Finals. You said that you felt confident. I think Utah, with them healthy, that Utah wins one game, maybe two. I think the Phoenix Suns are a bigger threat. Denver's are still a real threat, no matter what, because they got Yoke. I know Jamal Murray is not there; he's hurt, but you still got Yoke, and they're still playing good. Porter's starting to turn it on. Maybe they'll play my boy Bol. You hear me talk about that man all the time, but you gotta
I
kill
know
him.
they do him wrong.
They've ruined that man's career. Please trade him. Trade him to the Cavs. We need it. So anyway, I do see that. Let's just say they come out the Western Conference, right? I want to know, do you think they still take it all if the Nets are there?
Yeah, I think they can beat the Nets. And the reason why I think they can beat the Nets, one, the Nets, they don't have the cohesion right now because they haven't really been playing. So they got great players, but the problem with the Nets is they're a terrible defensive team. They're a terrible defensive team, and that's what's going to hurt them because any team can score 120 points on the Nets. You can be the worst scoring team like Cleveland, who beat them twice, or you can be the best scoring team, but you can score 120 plus.
Yeah, we beat them with James Harden. We beat them with James Harden.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. The Nets, I'm not too thrilled with just because of the fact that they don't play good defense, and they went and got LaMarcus Aldridge. I know he's retired now, but they went and got LaMarcus Aldridge and was saying, hey, he's going to be our defender. He's a guy that's going to shut people down. And he's not even a true defender like that. And they lost him. Yeah, the Nets may not even make it out of the East. And that's the crazy thing. I think they could. They got a lot of, they can outscore teams, but they may not even make it out of the East just because of their defense liability. So I think they can take any team. And if they go against Philly, I think the Lakers got Philly. So
yeah, because the Philly just doesn't have enough offensive firepower to play with them. Ben Simmons, unless he turns into Scottie Pippen somehow, I don't see it. I think the Bucks will give a good series because Giannis, he's always going to be dynamic. Obviously, the Nets will give a good series because of the star power.
Yeah,
But I think the issue will be for the Nets. You can't control the boards. The Lakers will
exactly.
control it. Once AD and Drummond in there. I mean, DeAndre is a
Look,
little washed, and they just can't control the boards, man.
Dr-
And DeAndre's gonna be in foul
Drummond,
trouble.
yeah, Drummond's gonna look like he's Wilt Chamberlain when he goes up against the net. Drummond's gonna get like 30 points and 25 rebounds. 35 points and 25 rebounds. He's gonna kill them down there in the paint. So,
Well, another thing too with the Lakers, healthy. I don't know how you're going to defend that pick and roll because it can come from LeBron, it can come from Dennis Schroeder, it can come from Anthony Davis. They have
yeah,
so many different ways to run it that makes them so dangerous. So
yeah,
let's just hope they get healthy. So let's talk
yeah.
about the other team we mentioned, the Phoenix Suns. Team nobody want to talk about. And I'm excited about the Suns. I really love the way they're playing. I love what Chris Paul has done to them. Chris Paul has proved I'm not washed. I'm not even close. Because they weren't even a playoff team, and now they're fighting for the number one spot, and I hope they get it.
The number one spot, yeah.
I hope they get the number one spot. So I want to see them in the Western Conference Finals more than everybody want to see the Clippers. I'm not even that. I think the Clippers are going to be a disappointment. They play the Lakers. They're going to get embarrassed.
Oh, yeah.
So, but what's your thoughts on Phoenix and Chris Paul with Phoenix?
Well, Phoenix, I have to say, I always thought that they could be a good team. They played well last year in the play-in and, in a bubble. They played good there. And with Chris Paul he's doing the same thing he did with the Thunder. He turned a young team into a real good team. And now he's turning this young team into a possible great team if they can, get it together and if they can keep Chris Paul for, a couple more seasons, mentoring those young guys and everything. But I think Chris Paul with that team is dynamic. They may not win a championship and they may not make it to the finals. I think they can if the Lakers are injured, but I mean, if the Lakers are not injured, the Suns, I don't believe, are going to go anywhere, but they're playing good. And I think Chris Paul they should really be looking at Chris Paul as a possible MVP. I know Jokic is probably going to get it,
Right.
but Chris Paul played this season. I mean, he turned a bad team, a team that wasn't a playoff team, into the top team in the West. Not playoff team, but number one in the West. Nobody expected that. So, I have to really give it up to him.
I would agree. I don't know why Chris Paul is not in the MVP conversation. He should be. To your point, these guys were not in the playoffs at all. They weren't even close. It wasn't like they barely missed the 8th seed. DeAndre Ayton was he a good pick? Maybe he wasn't. People are on the fence
now
about
he
him.
is.
Now he's a great pick. Now everybody loves him and says he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But because look at what Chris Paul did. This is what he did for Tyson Chandler. Tyson Chandler didn't look so good until he started playing with Chris Paul.
Exactly.
The same thing with DeAndre Jordan. People don't remember he was with the Clippers for a while before Chris Paul showed up, and he was a bench warmer. Nobody even heard of DeAndre Jordan.
Oh yeah, exactly.
When Chris Paul showed up, he looked like a star.
So, David West.
He was
an all-star with Chris Paul.
Another guy. So I mean, Chris Paul's got a proven track record of making guys look great. He did it in Houston. I know that they had James Harden and all of that, but I thought they were one injury away from beating Golden State.
Exactly.
Let's be honest.
Exactly.
One injury away from going to the finals and beating Golden State with Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant, come on,
I mean, I've taken my fandom of LeBron James out of it. Chris Paul is an MVP, and I hate to say that because I like Jokic.
Yeah.
Jokic is one of my favorite players, but I have to give it to Chris Paul. And if the Lakers are injured, I'm rooting hard for the Suns. And I love it too, just from the fact of being a '90s fan. They haven't been good since Kevin Johnson and Charles Barkley, really consistently. And I know they had their run with Steve Nash. They had a run.
They were good with Steve Nash, though.
They had a short little run with Penny and Jason Kidd. But still, even the Steve Nash era was not where Kevin and Charles were. So, and they didn't get to the finals. Kevin and Charles got to the finals. So
they did.
That's why I said they haven't really got to that level yet. But man, this is really exciting. They haven't been relevant since Steve Nash, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very exciting, and I want to see them do well. I hope they make it to the Western Conference Finals. I love it for Devin Booker. He's finally getting to shine like he should. And then I love it for Aiden. You know, I'm a big Aiden fan, you know, and I know he
Mm-hmm.
went to school in Arizona, so it's cool to see him succeed. And I think that's an important NBA market. That's one of those markets that is important, like Portland, you know, when it comes to the West as far as the traditional markets doing well. So I hope they make it to the Western Conference Finals. Hopefully, Chris Paul starts getting some votes for MVP because he surely deserves it. Even though he don't score as much as Giannis and some of these other guys or Embiid, that I can't give it to
Jokic.
Embiid. You know, he hasn't played enough games. Jokic, you know,
Yeah.
like I can't give it to Bron. At this point, Bron has not played enough games. I'll probably say, to me, my top three MVP votes will probably be, in no specific order, will be Chris Paul, will be Jokic, and will be Luka. Will be Luka the Don.
I look at it
Luka
like
the Don is a
that's
he's a
close.
monster because if you
No,
take Luka off
Luca,
that team, they're in the lottery again.
I
They're not
got
even
you,
fighting for the playoffs.
but you can say that about almost any star player. You take them off.
No. Luka the
Okay.
Don.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Take Giannis off of the Bucks. They're a lottery. You take
Yeah.
any star
Okay,
player.
well, I'll put Giannis at 4. Giannis will be number 4
Well,
because
I'm
he has
just
played the
saying.
majority of the season. He has played the majority of the
Yeah.
season.
Take Dame off the Blazers. McCollum ain't taking them nowhere.
I
They're a
like
lottery
Dame. I
team.
like Dame time. I like Dame time. I don't got nothing against Dame time, but I think they might just slide in at the bottom or be in the playoff.
No. Without Dame, they're not a playoff team.
They be in the playoff. They be in a playing situation. They put this year. Without
No, they
Dame, they're in
wouldn't.
the playing. They're in the playing.
No, they're not. Without Dame, they're not in the play-in.
Because that's like saying that Dame is a legitimate MVP candidate, is he?
He is. He is a legitimate MVP candidate. Dame been balling. Everybody
Yeah, he has.
they underrate Dame so much. Damian Lillard, his team, year after year, last year and this year, everybody's been injured. McCollum's been injured for a lot of the season. Their big guy been injured, most of the season. Like they're
Nurkic.
carrying the load by itself, and they're still in the playoffs.
Yeah, but they still got that bad boy CJ too, and that helps.
But CJ hasn't been there the whole season. That's what I'm saying. Like CJ's been injured a lot of the season, and they're still in the playoffs. That's the whole thing. Dame is my number.
So why would you not give Luka the Don that same love then? Because Luka keeps them relevant, and now he's turning it on at the right time. Because remember they were in the play-in. Now Luka don't turn it on. They sitting pretty above play-in.
I understand that. And that's why I say my first is Chris Paul, my second is Jokic, but my third is Dame. And this is the reason why. Because Luka, he's turning it on right now. But at the beginning of the season, going all the way close to the halfway mark, he wasn't really balling. Dame been balling from the beginning.
No, he been dealing with injuries because KP been injured. They've been had a lot of injuries, bro. The Mavs don't have a lot of injuries.
I understand, but when Luka started the season, he was not in real good shape. They've been saying that a lot, and he wasn't balling. I'm not talking about his team winning. Luka just wasn't really balling like that. He wasn't MVP level balling. Dame been MVP level balling all season to keep his team even in the playoff hunt. So that's why I put Dame at number 3 and Luka, because why would I put Luka over Dame?
So would Luka be your 4th pick?
Yeah, Luka would be like 4 or 5. He would be 4 because Embiid is out, had been out for. Right. If Embiid hadn't been out, then Embiid would be up.
Well, to me, like that's like saying if LeBron hadn't been injured, it'd be his trophy.
No, I didn't even think, and this is the thing, man. And LeBron, don't get me wrong, LeBron plays well. He plays good. He's a great player and everything. But the only thing I don't like is LeBron could be playing, somebody else can be playing just as good as LeBron, and it's LeBron's trophy to lose. I don't like that. I'm like, hey.
Well, shoot, the last 4 years, they don't find a reason for LeBron not to win.
I understand.
Really, last year, LeBron should have been MVP.
Last year, he shouldn't have. MVP. That's the thing. I don't think he should have been MVP last year, because, of course, it's a regular season award. Now, if you count the playoffs, then it's like, okay, yeah, we see. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a regular season award, I wouldn't have picked LeBron. I would have picked.
So you feel like LeBron coached during the season and turns it on at the end.
Exactly. And he does a lot of times. I mean, don't get me wrong. Here's the thing about LeBron. LeBron's great. He's a great player. He's greater than anybody that's in the league right now, as far as career-wise. So even LeBron at a lower level is still better than a lot of people. So when you look at him, he's putting up some numbers because LeBron knows how to play the game. You know, he knows how to get his numbers. He knows when to do it and all that, but he coasts a lot too. I can't give an MVP, even though you may be better than this other person. I can't just give you the MVP because you have, you know, some good numbers. You know, I mean, a lot of people have good numbers. James Harden should get it every year then if that's the case. Or, why aren't we giving it to Giannis? You know, Giannis is still playing how he's played during his MVP years, you know, so.
Right. Well, here's the problem with the NBA, and this goes all the way back probably to MJ. Eventually, they get tired of giving it to the same guy, and they got to find a way to not give it to. And that's what LeBron has got into now.
And Giannis the same way.
It's been for so long in his career, in Miami and in Cleveland, they found different ways to give it to someone else when it should have been LeBron probably like 6 times in a row.
But
that's the one thing I do like about baseball and even football. They don't find ways to not give it to someone.
Yeah,
just give it to them. Where in the NBA, we want to, you know, let's get David Robinson one before he get out of here. You know, you know, Charles. That's not saying Charles didn't deserve the MVP or Kevin Garnett didn't deserve it, but some of that is too like, well, we've overlooked you so long. Now it's your turn.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's kind of what happened with Giannis.
Yeah, I mean that's obvious. That happens. That happened with Jordan. I think when Karl Malone won his, I think Jordan was averaging like 30-something a game. He was leading the league. You know, I mean, he probably should have got it that year. It happens.
Like how can you really justify Allen Iverson having only one, or Kobe Bryant only having one,
or Shaq only having one?
Right, and Steve Nash got 2 of the things back to back.
But here's the thing: because you got skipped over in the past and years that you should have gotten it, doesn't mean we should make up for it now. And I think LeBron getting the MVP now would just be them making up for him not getting it in the past. I don't think LeBron should get it now because I think that there are people being overlooked that are playing better than what LeBron's playing during the season. Now, playoff time come, LeBron shows who's better. But I think during the season, I think guys like this season, I even think the Greek Freak been playing great. Jokic should be up there. Embiid, if he wasn't injured, he definitely probably be number 1 if he never got injured. Damian Lillard, he gets overlooked so much, probably because he's in Portland, but Damian Lillard from beginning to end, first of all, he's
definitely because he's in Portland. Like, I think it's ridiculous when people say James Harden should be on the list. I'm like, dude, first off, the dude powdered his way out of Houston. He showed up like completely out of shape and looking crazy. Then he goes to New Jersey and does the same bull job that Blake Griffin does. Now I can dunk the ball, and now I'm in shape. But it's easy to look good when you're playing with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Of course you're going to look great. And the majority of the season, he's been playing with Kyrie Irving. He barely played with Kevin Durant.
A lot of times he's been playing by himself.
But he's played a lot of games. He played more games with Kyrie Irving than Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but he's played a lot of games by himself because I've been watching that game.
Yes, he has, but to me, he's not the MVP. Now, maybe next season when they're all together and we see what they look like with all of them being healthy, maybe he will be. We don't know. But to me, I would definitely say Luka should be there. Dame Dollar should be there before he should.
Oh, of course.
As an MVP candidate.
Dame's number 3 to me, as far as MVP candidate. Luka's in the top 5. Dame's in the top 5. You know, so
this where I'm gonna lead the MVP thing, right? This is why, if you are a Hawks fan, which I'm not, but I do pay attention to the Hawks.
Who's a Hawks fan?
I live in it. I say if you are.
Okay.
I live in Atlanta, you know, so I do pay attention to the Hawks. But here's the thing: if you're a Hawks fan, Luka Doncic should haunt you forever.
Oh yeah.
Because this is what we talked about with the NFL. You took the best player in the draft and you moved them just to get more draft picks, which makes no sense ever.
Yeah.
That never works. It didn't work with Kobe Bryant. They took Kobe Bryant in Charlotte and said, we'll take more draft picks and Vlade. How'd that work out for you? It didn't work. Terrible. It's not working for the Hawks and Trae Young. And I feel bad for Trae because Trae seems like a really nice dude. He can play very well. He's a good player. He's an all-star caliber player most of the time, but he's a really
Most of the
good
time.
player.
Yeah.
To me, I will leave it at this analogy. In watching the Hawks for a long time, it's like trading Dominique Wilkins to get Steve Smith. And that's no
Terrible.
disrespect on Steve Smith's name, because Steve Smith was a very good player, but he
Yeah,
was
but
not Neek.
no, not at
He
all.
wasn't Neek. Neek was special. Neek, his
Mm-hmm.
whole career was a top 10 dude, probably top
Yeah.
5 most of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And he got overlooked a lot like Dame, but you don't do that. Luka is generational. Luka is already headed to the Hall of Fame. Already.
Exactly.
He gonna get an MVP before he get out of here. And might get
Yeah,
a ring before he
exactly.
get out of here. Why would you do that? I to this day I would never understand why they did that trade.
I don't
The
understand
dude,
either. Trey
he was the best player
Young,
in the draft. He magically fell to it and you traded for Trae Young because you
yeah,
thought he was Steph Curry.
dog. Trey Young is not a generational talent. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's,
No.
you know,
He's just a good
barely an
player.
all-star
He's
or
a
whatever.
good
He's a
player.
good player, you know, but he probably won't make
like Glenn Rice. Remember, Glenn Rice was a good player.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect on him, but Glenn
Mhm.
Rice was not Scottie Pippen. He wasn't Reggie Miller.
Oh no.
He was a 3-point shooter. He wasn't none of them guys. He was a good player.
Mhm.
Tim Hardaway. I really like Tim Hardaway, but he
Mhm.
wasn't no generational player. He wasn't Gary
Shoot.
Payton.
Sean Kemp.
Right.
And
Sean Kemp, the Rain Man.
Sean Kemp was a bad boy, but they were going
Bad boy.
they were going to trade him to the Bulls and get Scottie Pippen or whatever. That would have been a terrible trade for the Bulls. And Sean Kemp was a bad boy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, good thing for the Bulls that didn't happen. You know, they kept Scottie Pippen.
Like look at the speaking of the Bulls and the Sonics. The Sonics traded Scottie Pippen. Remember that for more draft picks. How that turned out for you?
Didn't turn out good for him.
He ended up being a dog. He ended up being an all-time player. So I don't really get it. So before we get out of here, man, let's talk about the East, man. Who do you see envisioning coming out the East? I'm gonna give you my 2 takes, and I'm gonna surprise everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't make no fool of me. I think the Boston Celtics is gonna surprise everybody and make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Finally, they finally gonna get over the hump. Jason Tatum gonna show out. I really like his game. I love how Jaylen Brown has developed. I know people keep saying Isaac Okoro is the next Jaylen Brown. As a Cavs fan, I really hope we're right. I hope so. I don't see it, but I hope so. But I think it's going to be Boston and the Nets at the end. That's what I see.
Got you. Yeah, I think to the finals. You know, of course, the Nets could definitely make it to the finals. You know, just because of the firepower they have, you have to give them that opportunity. You know, if they can stay healthy, and Joel Embiid keeps playing like the dog that he is, then they'll probably make it to the finals or whatever. But I'm gonna do it differently.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be either the Nets or the Bucks. I think it's gonna
be Giannis gonna get over the hump.
Yeah, I think Giannis gonna finally get over the hump. I mean, because now Giannis, even though his shot is not great, he still can hit from the outside.
He got one now. He got some level.
Yeah, he got a little jumper now, and I think Giannis could possibly get over the hump. If the Nets don't make it, then I think the Bucks will.
So, look like you froze a little bit there. You back with us. I was saying Giannis remind me of LeBron. Remember at the beginning, about the time LeBron played the Wizards and they had Gilbert Arenas. LeBron was starting to work that jump shot out, and then he started working it out and started getting a little better. And then we went on that run and we lost to the Spurs. But remember, LeBron didn't come in really with the jump shot like that. It wasn't consistent. He had the weird leaning motion and all of that.
Yeah.
And then he worked it out. And I feel like Giannis is kind of in that same spot. But maybe as he get older as a player, he'll have it. Kind of like, MJ. MJ always had a jump shot now. Let's not get it twisted. He always had one. But it just got to be so much more lethal. Like, especially
as he
in
got
the
older.
mid-range. He started with the turnaround and all that. And even he got to be a little lethal at the end of his career from the three-point, or like Ron Harper. My man ain't have no jump shot at the beginning. It was all take you off the dribble. But when he got to Chicago and LA, Ron was
Yeah.
leave him open, it's going in.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Giannis is kind of in that situation. What you think?
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. And that's why I said I think the Bucks could possibly make it to the finals this year. I mean, if they get it all together, I think they'll have just as good a chance as the Nets to make it to the final, just because of the fact that they actually, put in the work on the defensive end. Whereas the Nets, they'll go all game and let you have all the layups and dunks you want. So I just think I don't think the Nets are a championship team right now, and until they can get it together on defense.
I agree, and I would say the same thing with the Sixers. There's too many ifs. I'm worried about what version of Joel Embiid is going to show up. I can't count on Ben Simmons offensively. And he's a dog. He should be Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
I can't count on. Dwight. I mean, he's a role player at this point. So I mean, he's playing great. Dwight really been holding them down. He really the MVP.
Yeah.
I can't count on Danny Green because he's gonna throw up bricks when it matters. So so I think that takes them out for me. And then with Giannis, what version of Chris Middleton gonna show up?
Yeah, we'll see.
Is what version of Drew is gonna show up?
I think
Holiday.
I think they have a good chance though. I think they have.
I'm nervous about Drew Holiday, and I'm nervous about Middleton. What version of those two guys? And you need both of those guys deeply to show up. And I'm not sold they're gonna show up.
But
that's
the thing
why I feel
about
like the Celtics, if Brad Stevens can get out his own way, they're gonna show out.
Now, see, the thing about the East, the same things you're saying about Giannis and them, about the Bucks. It's the same thing with the Celtics. Every single team in the East has those problems. This has to happen for them to do it, and this has to happen.
No, but Marcus Smart healthy now. That was a big X factor. He healthy now.
I understand.
So Kimba, that's really their problem. What version of Kimba gonna show up?
And Kimba just got hurt, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
I guess we'll go ahead and end it here. And it was nice talking to you again and going through this sports stuff with you.
This man say that. This man been knowing me almost my whole life, man. You see how he put on for y'all. So, hey, we just want to thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate the love. Continue to join us. Join us for the next episode. We're gonna break down more great sports content. We give it to you just as we see it, as our opinion, raw, real. No chasing. We have a lot of fun on here. Please comment. Please share. We want to interact with you. We will respond to all comments. Find us where you find your favorite podcast and tune in next time. Man. We out.
Peace.